Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Fisker Automotive. I also have other requests up here like ticker symbol ANY, LAZR, NNDM, and NXU. So it should be a lot of stuff to go into. I also do have a comment in the live chat from Nameless. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Asking about my sentiment on the stock market. Am I more short or long primarily? And so, on the note of that comment, I would say, I did plan on doing a video on shorting the market, but I just ran out of time today. I'll probably record that during the pre-market and have it out before market open. I wanted to do it over the weekend with having the weekly candles, and but in pre-markets Monday I've been doing videos on covered calls. Those haven't been too popular, so I thought I'd just do the shorting video then. But yeah, really, I'm just building a slow position, accumulating short shares. So I'd say primarily, I mean, I'm not like as far as the S&P 500 goes, I'm only short that, but I have been, accumulating shares of a lot of the smaller medium cap companies that I cover on the channel. And so those I'm long on. So I'd say overall in the market, I'm primarily long. But as far as just recognizing that the top, and I'll go over the charts here in a minute, but just with like the S&P 500, it does look like, with Nvidia hitting all-time highs, $2 trillion market cap closing over the weekend, I think that we're due for a correction. And I am really just curious though, with this being an election year, I'm wondering if that is going to be postponed until after the election, this collapse. So I hope not. And to be honest, I hope that there's not a collapse. But I do think that as far as like SOXS, SPXU, and like SH, SQQQ, I do think that those are at a discount now. I think they will be going up, but it might be months before that happens. So that's why I do a very slow accumulation of them. Yeah, just because I want to have that edge when things do turn around. But I'm probably months too early. I mean, it's been months, so I'm already months too early. But yeah, so before I get into the tickers, I'm just going to say cheers to you guys. Cheers to Sunday. Hopefully we all got a nice week ahead of us. Working afternoons, so I'll be doing videos and stuff in the morning. And then I do have to work Saturday next week, so I'm not very happy about that. But, money's good, and I'm able to make videos in the meantime, and in my spare time, so it works out. So cheers to you guys. Thanks for joining. And if I get a little hazy towards the end of this, that is why. But I gotta enjoy it. It's nice to have the company and stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over some charts. Before I do that, though, I should throw this up in case there are new people here. Make sure you like the video, whether it's this video, other videos. If you do enjoy it, make sure you like them. And always let me know your thoughts in the comments or in the live chat. And of course, subscribe to the channel to support my efforts in going over these charts. Hopefully, the info, my perspective that I share is valuable for you guys. And really, it's just me trying to understand the charts and trying to navigate the emotions behind these levels that are jerking us around. Like with Fisker here, seeing it come down low so much, I'm seeing a lot of sentiment that this is just going to keep going down. And, I have seen that, since we've been in this channel. But at some point, there will be a bottom. And, I think that there's a lot of value here. And so I just started accumulating shares in Fisker, for example, really, like around this red line. And my average is now below $1. I don't have a ton of shares, but I do have, a notable position, I'd say. And, I'm excited for this to either squeeze up to $1 and maybe beyond, or, whatnot. And I just enjoy covering it and stuff. And I enjoy the community around it. So I appreciate you guys for being here. But yeah, I will go over some of the tickers that were requested. I'll go over the ones that were most recently requested. And so first, that would be ticker symbol ANY, which is Sphere 3D. So I had made a video on this that was part of the Rough Cuts request. Rough Cut requests? I think it's Rough Cut requests. I forget where I put the S in that. And so I had basically drawn up this, Fibonacci retracement with these levels and this uptrending level. And I believe maybe in the stream I had mentioned that, this looks good, it keeps bouncing. But then when I made the video, I realized that, when you do start to test a level repeatedly, you're eventually going to break through it. You're just bouncing on that level and it's getting weaker. And so it does look like Sphere 3D has broken that level just over the past couple days. And in my opinion, it looks like we could be coming down to the 786 here, right around $1.70, $1.71. So that is still, a 30-cent drop from current price. But at the same time, though, it could be putting in a reversal signal with this hammer candle following these three red candles. However, I had just put out the video on Biora kind of suggesting that a rising three methods could be at play. And so this actually reminds me of that, because a rising three methods is where you have a big green candle followed by three downtrending ones and then a big green candle, following that. And so we didn't see the big green candle here. And also, from this high to this low, that's kind of like a bearish engulfing candle, if we were to include or, merge these three candles relative to this one. Really, or, if we merge these three with and then these three, it's basically the same, because started on this day, February 22nd, the same price basically that we started at on the 26th. And so that makes me think that, this, bullish signal, this bounce reversal signal potentially, doesn't seem to hold much ground. Although, it is putting in a bottoming signal with big wicks to the downside. But yeah, this was after these big red candles going down, more than 5% each day, on Thursday going down more than 9%, and then seeing a green day of 4.5%. This could be, a bear flag. I feel like that's been coming up a lot in videos lately. But yeah, I could definitely see this one coming down to 170, 171. Maybe, though, it would find support, or maybe it has found support here at like 184. That does correspond with the lows over here, so I could see that. Also, if we throw up the volume profile, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a little lip there corresponding to the consolidation over here. So I'm a little bit compelled that this could be at a bottom, but just as far as these fib levels go, maybe there could be a wick down, not a close below, but a wick down to 170, 171. So that's something to consider if, one wanted to establish a position in this, or maybe to DCA, get the average down with it. But yeah, I'm not in this one, and I am personally, as of right now, spread too thin to be adding to new positions, or, really adding much more to the ones I already have. And so I see Nameless's comment here, and also Alfred's comment. I will add Mara. Yes, I'll just do that here so I don't forget it. Although Nameless will know that sometimes when I add tickers here, I do forget sometimes. So don't hesitate to remind me if I do forget Mara a little later into the video. But yeah, Nameless is saying, would you like to cover SPXU and SOXS, or are you making a video? Oh yeah, I can cover them. That actually helps me in making that video. Because, I had previously been thinking it kind of is like a 2-for-1. If I do tickers in the live stream and then cut them, edit them into videos, those don't perform as well. And I've actually gotten comments that, I don't present that well. And so I think it's people, expecting me to have kind of a nicely curated video, and then it's just me casually chatting. I don't think they like that as much. So I think it's better for me to go over them here. And so I'll add SPXU. I will add SOXS as well as SPX, and I will add Nvidia, because I think that's a really key component of it. And I do think that there's some topping signals there. And Parody saying, can you do a quick Rivian review for the coming week? Yeah, and I also, I don't know, I'll pull this up, but I did share a video from, let's see, Verified Investing. It's Benjamin Poole's analysis. I think it's Financially Fit. Or no, maybe it was from the thing that he does with Paul Sampson. I'll pull it up here. Let's see, channel, just one second. So from the community page, thanks for the votes. I did see a majority there. But yeah, so I do have this link here. Useful for those holding/interested in establishing a position in Rivian. Makes me realize I need to be more aggressive in my buying the dip. And so right at the start of it, basically they do like a pretty short intro. And then sometimes, Paul starts, sometimes Ben starts. But in this, Ben goes over Rivian basically in the first 5 minutes and how, there was that gap down. But he noticed a trend line going up. And so that makes me think that, it's been respecting this trend line, that, we could be filling the gap sooner than later. And so while I'll pull up the chart as I chat about this. And I will jump around and get to all of these at some point. I basically, was looking at the chart, and I remember being out to eat and seeing a Rivian in the street, and price was up here. And I had noticed that it was hitting these lows over here, right around, let's see, like 11, 12 bucks. And I was, like, man, I missed that opportunity because, it's gone to the moon. And yeah, so I've just been watching it. I did some videos on it. And so right now it's like, well, this is your chance, buddy. This is your time to get those shares when it's at a discount. Well, but yeah, the 1618 down here is at 925. I'm going to place an order there and wait for it. I'm probably going to get left behind if I do that, just like, I was left behind over here. So, what do I see with this? Really, I think just stemming from Benjamin Poole's analysis, I probably want to put this on the hourly time frame. Let's see. I think that, he drew a trend line. I'm not sure from where exactly. I'd have to rewatch the video. And, I also don't want to just be like copying his analysis and stuff. But, if we do look at, this market hours low here at 10:05, bring that up to here. These are market hour lows. Let's see, that is low of 11.1 cent. So I'll make sure that's just right. And 10:05, not 10:06. Yeah, so that should be good. And so, yeah, basically, I think like this is what he was going for. And he also pointed out in the video that you could, draw a different trend line. And, maybe he also did it from here to there. Yeah, so, I mean, I'd have to look at it to see what he did because, and a lot of the stuff that I do, I am still learning a lot. I think that he probably drew it like, from this point, or, yeah, I'm not sure exactly. But you could, connect here or maybe over here and then make the argument. And actually this, I think, is pretty interesting. You get like a fake out here, test of it, and then another test here. Then you get a break below, a retest of it, get rejected with that as resistance. And then you come down here. Yeah, so maybe there's this kind of fanning levels going on here. And yeah, so I mean, I think that, current price, really in the after hours, 11:30, that could be a really good dip buying opportunity. But, for me, I tend to just like dollar cost average in as things go lower. And so like very passive. And so if it does drop, orders get filled, chilling, no big deal. But with this, I mean, it's just looking at this on the daily time frame. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to that gap level. Did get some rejection there, opened above, let's see, it's priced right around 11.45. That was the close. Let's see, 11.45 on the 22nd. So we did get rejected from there. So, I do think that we could see maybe a little bit of a pullback, maybe coming down to 11 bucks. So maybe that's a good level to, especially too, you see right here at $11, that at least, you got some consolidation over here, but between these two candles, you just got these wicks there. So there isn't, a solid candle base there. And if we do look at the volume profile, yeah, I mean, this is, right at 11.05. So maybe 11.05. What was the low on Friday? That was 11.01. So yeah, I mean, I think that this could be in a position to really, accumulate a good amount, but also, you know, just to be careful as well. But yeah, I'm really intrigued by Rivian, the company. I think their trucks, the SUVs, are beautiful. People have, however, you know, commented on, you know, that the front of the trucks look kind of ugly, like Pokemon. I heard them compared to, which I don't really see it. I mean, I guess I can see it a little bit, but I think that they're sleek electric vehicles, electric pickups. And some of the features that they have too are really nice if you get one of the upgraded versions. And I do see a comment on WLF and GOSS and Twilio, which is TWLO. And so I will go over all of those. And so what I should probably do before I get too lost in these requests is start working my way down the list. I did go over I did go over Fisker. GOSS was just requested. Laser, I think was somebody else requested who may not be here. If you did want me to go over Laser, let me know in the comments and I will. And so I'll go over Mara next. And so this, I think, you know, you can't go over Mara. And actually, I'm going to delete the ones that I have gone over just so this doesn't get too crowded. Because I know Ed does block the ones at the bottom of the list. And so let's see, what other ones have I gone over? Okay, I think that's good. So I'm just going to add Bitcoin here because I think it's important to look at Bitcoin when considering miners. And so here, oh man, what did I do? Oh, what? I did not want to create an order. Okay, Bitcoin USD. There we go. All right, so looking at this, breaking above 62, so that's good. Breaking above 63, although it does look like it's a red here. So this is the hour. I was thinking that was the day. Yeah, so okay, so what we want to see here with Bitcoin is getting a close above like the high that we hit, which was 64.20, 64.200, 210. I'm not used to talking about such big numbers. And so hopefully, well, we got a wick above there. Yeah, this does look like it's a bull flag, potentially a bull flag. But if we're getting rejected from these highs, then it could be a breakdown of that, and then we start to look at a double top. So I think that Bitcoin and crypto in general is kind of getting to this precarious point where everybody's expecting it to get to 69K, if not blow past it. And I think that with the halving and stuff, there is like a total bull case for it with the ETF, all of that. But this was brought up by, I think, Gareth Soloway in either his game plan or maybe I don't know that I shared it. But the one of the videos that there's one with David Lynn. He chatted with Gareth Soloway. I think that's probably what I'm referring to. Let's see. He talked about how basically like if the S&P starts selling off and we start to see a big correction, that's going to be a lot of people pulling their money out of ETFs positions, you know, whatever. And if they're pulling their money out of ETFs, that means they're going to be pulling their money out of the Bitcoin ETFs that just blew up, you know, that just grew so much over, you know, the largest record number of inflows to any ETFs. And so, you know, really, I mean, like if the S&P like starts to collapse, if the NASDAQ starts to collapse, what could happen is that could trigger basically like a rug pull scenario on crypto. And that if everybody's like, oh crap, the market's collapsing, we got to take our money out. And then they pull their money out of these ETFs. And then that creates a rug pull. So it's like, you know, basically before we had whales that would trigger collapses and stuff, and Bitcoin that would, you know, squeeze shorts, whatever, and then they'd, you know, sell, drop the price, you know, buy back in, whatever. Now we have kind of like a different version of whale, and that is, you know, the ETFs. They are these new whales. And so if there is market volatility and stuff, I do think that that could be driving stuff down. Also, speaking of market volatility, the VIX, maybe I should pull that up at some point, is, you know, seems like it's getting ready to pop. So we might be seeing some volatility there. Hey, and so Mohammed, I see that your comment, you think we can reach $1 for Fisker tomorrow? Tomorrow, I don't know. Like, I mean, my area of focus is really not squeezes. I tend to get a little antsy with them. But I do think that Fisker is, I mean, basically what I see in the candle from last Friday is that, here, I'll just pull it up. I did just remove it from this list because I did just do a video on it, and just covered the earnings call. But yeah, I mean, just like looking at this candle, to me, it popped down to these levels that, the mystery of how the Fibonacci's work, came down to those levels and then, closed, notably higher. Let's see, I had drawn these lines based on how it was trading in the pre-market or after hours around the earnings report. And so, yeah, I mean, it did wick up higher to 52 cents, but then closed below. I think that this could be forming a bottom. And I think that if they get good news from Nissan or whatever that deal ends up being, I think that this could trigger some violent moves to the upside. As far as time frame goes, I don't know, but really just like with any stock, whether listed on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, there is a requirement that for them to remain compliant, they have to be closing above $1 over the course of 30 days, and I believe monthly closes as well. And so Fisker is no longer compliant. So they will have to likely do a reverse split unless there is some, violent moves up to $1 a share. So will that happen? I have no idea. But, I intentionally started adding a little bit more heavily when price started going below $1. So my average is below $1. So if I want to trim, I think I will be able to at some point at $1 and then maybe could buy back lower. Or, maybe, just hold some of those for the long term. And then, so I also see the, hey NASCAR, what's up? And then I see the other comment from Mohammed. Do you also take fundamental/catalyst analysis into account? Nissan Fisker news. Well, I mean, yeah, I feel like I kind of just mentioned that. Yeah, so you got that. So for me, I really just try to focus on the charts, but then I try to factor that kind of stuff into it. But really, I feel like the charts are just I feel like they're just a map of emotions and the emotions that we go through. And so I really like to interpret those, especially when I'm making my own trades. I really like to think about, man, this is pulling back. It's making me nervous. I'm now red and I was just green. Maybe I should sell if it goes into the green. It's no, that's the emotions. They're messing with me. It's pulling back to mess with me, and then it's going to go higher, stuff like that. So that's kind of what I like to focus on. And then all this other stuff is really just a little bit of additional things. But I feel like the charts, it's so weird. And especially when events happen, things like that, whether it's conflicts or, news things that can really influence the chart. And it a lot of times seems to kind of line up with what's going on. With Biora, for example, I'm going to close the, let's see, I'm just going to close the Fisker chart here, and I'm going to open up Biora real quick, just because, I had done this in last week's Sunday stream, and I will get to Mara. I'm sorry, I just get sidetracked. But, I made the video, or covered it in the live stream with it testing, the top of this, what looked like falling wedge, having just broken out of this channel. And then the very next day, they release news on a successful phase 1 of their clinical trials, and then it goes up. So it's, yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff, you don't even really need to pay attention to it. The technicals here were saying that it was positioned to move a lot higher, and it was really just waiting for that news catalyst to bring it up. But you never know when a company is going to release a news report like that, or a press release. So, I think that just looking at the charts can really give a good idea for, at least when the stock's positioned and ready for some good news like that to trigger some volatility. But yeah, and then how is GOV still listed on the NASDAQ? Mohammed, I've had the same question, and I've actually been really reluctant to cover that stock. It was requested, so I started making videos on it. And then, following making those videos, they were popular. So I kept going with them. And then I saw it drop to 11 cents or below. I picked up some shares. And then in the video I just put out, I realized man, actually it didn't bounce as I was hoping it would. It looks like it's forming a bear flag. So yeah, I mean, that one is, I think, of the stocks that I cover, I feel like that one's the most risky. But I do think that they will be doing probably a 1-to-20 reverse split, I imagine, to keep it above $1. And I believe that they are planning to do that pretty soon in the next month or two. So yeah, I mean, it's that one's interesting. Like I'm compelled by the company and stuff, but I just feel like with what the chart's been doing and just, you can only expose yourself to so much risk. I think that one's a little too risky. But that's just me. And if people do like the videos on it and stuff, then I will continue to cover it just because I think it's also too, it's like I don't want to make a video on a bear flag and that thinks something's going down if people are long it. But that's also part of, being a trader is recognizing when, the move that you're hoping for, this bounce or the slingshot that I was hoping for, went south. So, I would rather exit, at break even than hold the bag, which I only have 100 shares. So that's 10 and a half bucks. No big deal. But still, that could be used for something else. And then I'll see your follow-up comment. Uh, yeah, and on the note of GOV, it's been GOEV, it's been under $1 for more than a year, so I have no idea how it's still listed. And then you also comment, understood that, but what if the company goes bankrupt? The chart goes out of the window, right? Yeah, most definitely. And I think that especially with EV stocks, I was holding Lordstown Motors, ticker symbol RID, which is probably listed as RIDE. Which is now listed, I believe, as RIDEQ because it was delisted. And, I pulled out, I think I took like a 60% loss or something. And that was a good lesson for me. And yeah, with EV startups, any startups, there's risk of bankruptcy. And also, the EV market is kind of saturated with all these companies. I do think that Fisker does have an edge. As far as Canoe, I'm not really sure. It seems a little niche. As far as Lucid goes, they seem like they're pretty far along. Same with Rivian, also having the investment by Amazon. So I think that those are all pretty good plays. But then, yeah, I'm not sure of the other EV ones. Oh, and then also thinking about like ChargePoint and EV charging stations. That to me makes me think of like, gold miners. How do you make money? Do you do it by mining gold or do you do it by selling picks and shovels? And so I feel like, the charging stations like ChargePoint, that is kind of, the infrastructure aspect of gold mining like picks and shovels. And so, I think that is an intriguing play. But at the same time, maybe it won't pan out because Tesla's already, established so much of that market share. ChargePoint's going to have a hard time taking it over. But, I do, a grocery store that I live by does have a couple ChargePoint stations. They do have more Tesla charging stations, but it's nice to see, ChargePoint in action. So I think it's cool. Hey, Big Bird, what's up? Yeah, you're my BIOR guy. You know why I'm here. LOL, happy I added BIOR and at 70 cents and 80 cents. I feel like everyone is expecting a sell-off. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a large pop in the near term. Yeah, so that's so I will pull it up again, but then I got to get to these other tickers. So yeah, I just put out the video on how, I'm wondering if this could be a rising three methods. I've made some videos on falling three methods, which is basically you just get a red candle, then three green ones up, and then another big red candle. That's continuation. And so I'm really curious what happens tomorrow if we get a big green candle here. That could be a rising three methods, which is for a continuation to the upside. And I think that we could be testing $2 within this week if we do see a big green candle tomorrow. And, we also see this big wick down here closing within this green candle. So that suggests to me that, while it hasn't happened yet, and it is really just kind of like hopium and fantasy right now, I think that we could be seeing that. And I was thinking that we might see a double top. This could be that opportunity or that potential. And maybe it would top out at $2 and then come back down. But I'm intrigued by the chart. And how do I feel about Rivian technicals? I did cover Rivian earlier, and I also did post this link to this video, which is from the Verified Investing channel. And it's two guys. The bottom line is the show that they do. It's Paul Sampson, who does crypto, and Benjamin Poole, who does stocks. And basically within the first 5 minutes, Ben goes over Rivian. And so I think that it's kind of a buy the dip scenario there. So I'd check that out. And because, that's going to be better analysis than I could do. And I am going to move on to Mara and get going down this list because I tend to forget them. Nameless can tell you that I definitely forget stocks if I get too distracted with all the chatting and stuff going on. But yeah, here with Mara, this does look like a double top. Let's see, how does that compare to Bitcoin? Both of them on the daily, I believe. Yes. And so, Yeah, I mean, this, potentially also looks like a double top. If we can't get a close above 64.2 thousand, 64.3 thousand, really, we need to be getting higher. Then I think that this could be a double top with Mara. Let's see, is there bearish divergence or anything? There is bearish divergence. Here, looking on the daily, we see higher highs in the stock price here, but we see lower highs in the RSI. And this, lower high is confirmed because we did see a downtick in the RSI, and so we do see that clearly the RSI is lower whereas the price is higher. Maybe it's cooled off already though, and that this hammer candle is suggesting that we might be seeing a reversal, especially if Bitcoin is rebounding. So let's see what Bitcoin was at, on Friday the 1st. It was kind of flat here, and now it's going up. So with Bitcoin going up, I could definitely see this as being a reversal signal, and that Mara will be going up tomorrow, potentially to like $29, $30, maybe to test the top here at that as resistance. But I do think getting up to like $31.50, right around where that blue line is, I do think that's going to be tough. And then also, I was mentioning this bearish divergence here just on the shorter time frame. But if we do look at it on the longer time frame, we do have higher highs here, and then we have lower highs here. And so that is, telling me that, well, it might be going back up to 30, 31.50, whatever. Long term, bigger picture, this is putting in some topping signals. Here, looking at it on the weekly time frame, we see higher highs coming here in the stock price, whereas lower highs in the RSI. So again, this could be going higher, but it may not be going much higher. 34.09 may be the local top before a retracement to perhaps the orange line here that seems most convincing to me, or maybe testing the bottom here right around 15 bucks, but this orange line at 13.79. And really that there's some wiggle room there. I did have that drawn based on the high here, but it's open to interpretation. But I think a lot of the crypto space is getting ready for a pullback that's going to surprise a lot of people. And that also comes from, that's really not too much of my analysis. A lot of that comes from Gareth Soloway and the Verified Investing channel, and the things I've learned from him and his analysis, being able to identify bearish and bullish divergence. He refers to it as negative or positive divergence. I've just gotten used to calling it bearish and bullish, and here definitely bearish on the weekly time frame. Maybe even if we look at the monthly, we can see here. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't really tell us as much because this month is brand new for March. But with that being said, you could look at this, you could think of this as if this is, a higher high the month of February, and we do see a really, I guess it's kind of flat there, so it's weak bearish divergence. But yeah, anyways, I just be careful as far as anything in the crypto space right now. If you're up, that's great, and I think it's, it could go notably higher. But if you're thinking about like establishing a position right now, we're thinking shorter term, I think that they could be really very risky right now because so many people are expecting it to moon around the halving. And, pretty much when everybody expects something, the opposite happens. And so for me, what I've been doing with Bitcoin and also Doge and Ethereum Classic, ETC, I just add a very small amount. For Doge and ETC, I do $1 a day. For Bitcoin, I do $10 a week. And Doge and Ethereum Classic, I plan on swinging, for a 10x gain, basically, when Doge hits $1 around there. For Bitcoin, that's my retirement. I don't plan on touching that. So $10 a week, no big deal. But anyways, I will continue down this list. NNDM, I don't think anybody requested that here live. I will add, hey NASCAR, I will add here, let's see, I saw your comment, SWIN. So I will add that, but it might take me a minute to get to it. And I am going to delete Biora from this list just to clean it up a little bit. And I did go over Mara, so I will delete that as well. And then now I'm just going to go over, as Nameless was requesting, I am going to go over now basically the S&P 500, so the SPX, And so I do most of my charting with the SPX, but it doesn't include after hours, whereas SPY does. So maybe that's more of interest. But for this, and part of the reason why I started doing more with the SPX is because the SPY was making a new all-time high before SPX. And so I think this is a better measurement of better tracker of the S&P 500. And so basically, what I've done, I've drawn these blue lines. They mark gaps for me. That's how I do my charting. So there are all these gaps to the downside. And, I do think that they eventually will be filled. And then also, I think, basically following Gareth's analysis, I drew this line slightly different than him, but I drew this line based on the low here of October 27th. A lot of stuff hit lows, and I believe that was a low for Coinbase as well, pretty interesting. And then also the low here on January 17th. So I just drew that uptrend. It does look like, we got a test of that line here with a close right on it, a fake out break below right before Nvidia's earnings. Gap up to test the top of this, like tightening wedge here. I wouldn't have seen this just, in following, what the charting that Gareth does, seeing that. And then, with Nvidia now at a market cap, I'll pull it up in a second, of over 2 trillion. This, we got a green candle, almost 1% for Friday, March 1st. This looks like it's getting close to testing the top of that channel, or not channel, the top of this tightening wedge. And I expect, it's an election year, so it's tough to say that, maybe this could go higher. But it's just, you take a step back, looking at this on the weekly, like this is just going vertical. Like it's even, look at that. Look at that. If I remove my drawings, it's going too high. And also, having talked about bullish and bearish divergence, while we are in a new month with March, we do have higher highs forming here. And so basically, whatever happens with this month, if the price does moon, if it does go shooting higher, we could see a higher high in the RSI. But on the monthly time frame, so big picture, we do see higher highs in the price here and lower highs in the RSI. And so I feel like, this to me, with this higher peak here, this looks to me like Bitcoin. If we go back to, when it hit, let's see, I just got to zoom out enough. When it hit 69K, that was a higher high. And then it went into a bear market for a few years. So, I don't know what's going on here with this. Whenever like the day switches over, it gets kind of wonky. But yeah, I just think that, let's see, looking at this, I think that big picture, it might take, months. But I think that this is going to collapse. And also, I do think that it's really interesting that Nvidia, let's see, what's the market cap? 2.06 trillion. And then here, let's look at this on the daily time frame. We do have, let's see, a lower high here. So that's not necessarily going to be, bearish divergence or anything. We did see a higher high here with the RSI going lower. But, it does seem like we're getting a bounce and that it did close green. It did close at the top of this candle. Let's see the close and the high. The close being 21 cents lower than the high for the day. I think that this is probably going to go up higher into tomorrow, but I'm not sure of what data is being released next week. Is it jobless claims or was that last week? I forget. There's always so much stuff being released. But I think, yeah, and no problem, Alfred. I forget what you asked about, but I'm happy that my jumbling around. Oh, asking about Mara. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, I think that the market, S&P 500, whether it's Nvidia, I think that all of this stuff is getting really, really close to a top. And there just seems to be like so much euphoria, whether it's in crypto, whether it's in stocks. And I think that eventually, at some point, I don't think it might not happen. I think Monday it'll probably test the top of this. So it could be going up to, maybe it's going up to 5,200 tomorrow, the S&P 500, the SPX. And, but that could be a fake out breakout and then it pulls back. And at some point, this is going to break. And with that, people are going to liquidate a lot of their positions. And I think that could create a cascading effect for Bitcoin now that it is a part of the establishment with the ETFs and stuff, the traditional financial, whatever. And so yeah, I mean, I think that there could be, I think that there, it's kind of a recipe for disaster. And so I'm not overall mainly short, but I am building short positions. And I kind of put on the brakes as far as SPXU, which is short the S&P 500, think 3x leveraged. And the main reason why I kind of put the brakes on with this one is because I'm not putting the brakes on with SOXS. And really, I just do like, I'm doing like basically weekly buys. I have to like, I try not to add every week, but I'm going to add a little bit more to my account this week. And so I need to kind of evaluate that. And you know, with this at like $3 a share, man, let's see, I don't have that many shares. I could really load the boat, but I wouldn't want to load the boat unless, you know, I'll have to be paying attention to this tomorrow. If, you know, we're hitting, if I need to put an alert on here. I have too many alerts, but create an alert for the S&P 500 SPX above, let's see. Oh man, I've got alerts here already. I need to adjust this one. I want it to be above 52 because I think that is going to be like a blow off top signal. I can delete this one. And yeah, so, you know, got those two alerts there. But yeah, I mean, I think that if it does go up, if it does, you know, get a wick up there, that could be like, okay, now load SOXS. And for me, loading is, you know, really not that big. But I mean, you can get 100 shares of this for $30. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I don't know. But I'm not necessarily waiting for a violent move up to, you know, this like $10. I think that'll take some time. So I'm just kind of like slowly building the position. I'm not too impatient. And with this, yeah, I mean, SOXS. So that's kind of my perspective on those. I will probably put a video out on them during pre-market so you can kind of get a cleaner perspective, my cleaner perspective on them. But yeah, I think that at some point in 2024, we're going to see a top in the market, and I don't know how much it's going to pull back, but I do think it will pull back. Yeah, and so I will go now over to NXU, just trying to go down the list alphabetically. I'm going to take another drink, though, so my ice doesn't melt. So at least not all of it melts. I've got a nice solid cube there, though, or sphere, I should say. It's a sphere. All right, NXU, what is this company? NXU Inc. or Enzu? Is this a Chinese company or? I just have no idea how to pronounce it. NXU, let's see. Is a vertically integrated technology company. The company is leveraged. The company is leveraging its intellectual properties and battery innovations to support e-mobility and energy storage solutions. The company's NXU ecosystem, it's a horrible name, I'm sorry. Ecosystem consists of battery cell and pack technologies, grid-level energy storage solutions, charging infrastructure, platform, and medium-duty electric mobility solutions, and over-air cloud management. Its products include Q-Cell, Cube, and Cube Plus. It's Q-Cell battery technology, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so to me, it makes me think that maybe they've got their hands in like too many pots, that they've just got a lot going on, so maybe that's not so good. However, I do see that there is some interest because it's at $1 a share, and it went up 25% on Friday, even though it was a red day. We do see this gap up. And so who requested this? Was this more money? I am not the expert on this stuff. Let's see. Who requested NXU? Or was it NASCAR? NASCAR is also into this kind of stuff. Where did I see? Oh, somebody commented in the live stream. That's why I have it noted. And then I also see TD. I was just scrolling up, and so I should probably add that here. I'm not sure if this is what you were referring to. That was, I believe, NASCAR mentioned that. Maybe I'll add that. Maybe that's what you're thinking about. Maybe not. It'll take me a little while to get to it, though, working down this list. But yeah, with this, I might switch over to the hour time frame. Yeah, I mean, for me, I got a couple. I've done a few of these, you know, like round $1, $2, squeeze up, maybe take advantage of the next move up. And so here, what I could see, and I feel like the way that things happen is it's basically like things happen enough times to get people interested, and then they don't happen again. And so here, it's like you got the squeeze up. Let's get a measurement of this. So from like the closing price here up to here, that's a 65% swing. It gets people interested. Sorry, I just bumped the mic. And then it's like, okay, well, I missed the squeeze. Maybe there'll be another squeeze, but I missed it. I'm not gonna get it. And then it squeezes up again and goes up. What's that percentage? 130%. And it's like, okay, now it's gone twice. It's gonna happen again if it does another 130% move, or not. If it just goes up to that previous high, that's still an 80% move. And so I feel like at this point it gets kind of risky because it's already happened twice. That, maybe it's not going to happen again. And also, if we do invert this, coming back to those lows, that's a 30% drop. So yeah, with it being $1 share, maybe this is something fun for a squeeze. But I think it's just like for me, like if I were to do this, which I'm not going to, I would buy 1 share. And that's kind of like my risk tolerance for stuff like this. And maybe, I turn that dollar into $1.80 or $2, and just by setting a limit order and forgetting about it, but maybe it bleeds out. And so, has it squeezed like this in the past? Yes. And then it did another squeeze and then it just bled. And so, yeah, I don't know. This is not one that I'm not gonna partake in any of these, even though it's just, $1 a share. But let's see, where did it, maybe though it has potential to actually, let's see, maybe it's already bumped this because it did have some pre-market higher values. So let's see. I'm thinking like right around $1.60. That seems like a level to be paying attention to because you got this resistance here. If I put up the volume profile, it's not much because there's so much consolidation here. But you got this little blip in the volume profile because of this consolidation. That's going to be resistance. And so if we do switch over to the hour time frame, yeah, look at that. Pretty crazy. It's kind of predictable. But the next level, I think that's pretty cool. Let's see, the next level, looking on the daily that I think we could see resistance is, up here. And so I don't know, and this is really like the base of that resistance because you could go higher to get to more. Like if we put up the volume profile, it's a little bit higher than that. But I think this is like where you'd start to get that resistance around 260. So maybe there's a potential for this to 2x still. But and this is also, in the after hours down a little bit, 98.79 cents. So I don't know, something to consider if this is your cup of tea. Yeah. And then also I see, yeah, so yeah, I don't know who, somebody requested it in the live stream. NASCAR, sorry to put the blame on you. No. Oops, 100%, not 500%. Yeah, up. It was like 130% or something that I saw. Probably the best example of a stock to buy to wait for the next random 50 to 100% pump is SPRC. Never holds gains, but always good for a pump. All right, let's look at that real quick, and then I'll move on to some of these other tickers here. Let's see. I'm going to remove Nvidia because I did do that. And also these short the market stuff. Delete those. So I will add, let's see, to here, SPRC. Let's look at that real quick. Oh, wow, yeah. This is interesting too because it does seem to have a repeating this is remarkable. I expected it to do this like 3 times, but we can take some measurements of this. And so really just like from, let's see, this high to, the day before the run up, that's 17 days. And then here, this, maybe we want to adjust this maybe to this. I'm just going to fudge it until it looks good. 15 trading days, 3 weeks. here, you know, right about that, here, right about that, here, right about that. I mean, I don't know. It's just like, basically it has like 3-week cycles. And so it's at $4 a share basically. And so I could see this. Yeah, this is actually, this one might be fun. I might scoop up a share of this to see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I could see this going up. What percentage? Oh, I did this down. Dang it. I want to measure it from the bottom to the top. That's a 60% swing. So yeah, I mean, maybe, you know, doing 50% or 20%, you know, whatever your risk threshold is. But yeah, I mean, you could turn $4 into $5 easily, potentially, if this continues to repeat. But yeah, so this one seems cool. I'm intrigued by this. I think this is a good, you know, one to set and forget. And I think that, you know, within 1 to 2 weeks, you could be making 20% at least profit on this. That's better than you get with a savings account. So that's, I think, a good perspective to have. 20% doesn't seem like that much compared to this kind of squeeze, but it's an enter and exit, and you've got to have that exit, especially if you're working. You know, I'm actually, during most of the market hours, I'm not at work, but, you know, doing other things, you know, whatever. So good to keep that in mind. Now, but so I will continue on this list. Now, there was a comment on Rivian, but I did cover that earlier. And then also, I did recommend the Benjamin Pools analysis. So here, SWIN. I'm not sure who requested this. Let's see. SWIN. Oh, this was NASCAR. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this, wow. And this is on the daily time frame. Let's see. I'm just going to do some Fibonacci retracements and see if there's anything that stands out to me. Just going to add all these levels back in. I think one of these is going to... Oh, well, actually, no, I need to do this. Dang it. This is not going to be as dramatic. It's doing it to the downside. I need to do it from here to here. And so, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Fibonacci's are awesome. Like 2618 predicted, you know, this top here. So I could see, and it did get, you know, a bounce off of the 1618 with that wick down. Man, I'm like so mesmerized by Fibonacci's. Like, the market's like a lot more predictable than you would think. And or humans are a lot more predictable than you'd think. This is like exploiting emotion, and I don't know. I think this is really cool. I think that the top might be in there. RSI, I mean, yeah, this is like pretty much double top as far as the RSI goes, but a higher high. So that's a weak bearish divergence. And also volume doesn't seem too big compared to how it was over here with the RSI being up a lot more. So I could see this pulling back and settling at like $9, maybe coming down to $7, maybe coming to $8. But yeah, I would be reluctant to get into this, but I think it's a beautiful chart. I could see SWIN dropping back down to the $4-6 range. So what's going on with the $4-6 range? So that's like coming down to these levels. Let's look at the volume profile. I mean, it's just going to be, oh, right over here. Yeah, got this peak here. Pretty cool. And so it could be coming down to like right around $5. Also these here. Yeah, I could definitely see that. And so I'm just going to color that level a little bit different, and I'll do another one here. Oh, that like, dang it. I just want to do the color. Yellow there. Yeah, so I mean, I feel like, let's look at the volume profile. Yeah, I think coming down to like $5. Between $5 to $7, 4 to 6 is what you're saying. The other thing to keep in mind is $4 is the IPO issue price. And so that would be like right here. Basically, it dipped down to like $4, but open there. But yeah, $4. So that would correspond with kind of like this open almost. I mean, you do see this volume shelf kind of really start to cool off around 4. Oh, and also too, I mean, let's say, just hypothetically, I'm going to remove some of these levels. I'm just going to delete it. Let's say hypothetically that we did have, this run is complete. So let's just take a measurement of that. Where is the 618 at? I think that's going to be an interesting level to keep in mind. The 618 at 671, but the 786 corresponding pretty nicely with this high here. So I could see definitely it returning to $5 to like $7 range. And yeah, definitely there is a possibility it could go lower. And then let's see, yeah, $4 also corresponding to these wick lows and stuff. The close here was at 372. So yeah, I think that 4 is like the lowest it would go. But so this could be like a good example of, let's say if you want to establish a position, and this is just like a mental experiment. I'm not doing this or suggesting that anybody does it. But like you got all these levels here, really like right around $7, then at $6, 5, and 4. And so like if you wanted to establish a full position, maybe do like a fifth here, around a fifth at 6, or sorry, a fifth at 7, a fifth at 6, a fifth at 5, and then 2/5 at 4. And that could be, like a potentially nice play here. But actually, I didn't even look up what SWIN is. Solowin Holdings Ltd. is a company mainly engaged in the securities brokerage business. The company is engaged in the provision of securities brokerage commissions and handling services, investment advisory services, and other services. In addition, the company is engaged in the provision of asset management services and other services. So yeah, I don't know really what they do, but it does seem like this could be pulling back and then maybe getting another run up. And when did this IPO? This was September of 2023. It's a pretty new company. But yeah, I mean, you buy in here and you think for, like half a year, there's a turbo. Ooh. Something pretty cool is in the chart that I just noticed. And I'm not going to give it away, but I typically do these with purple. So that's not a perfect line or anything. Let's see, I'll just do it over here, and then I'll connect it over here. I don't know why I typically do them in purple, but it's like purple is my head and shoulders color for some reason. And so with that, we can do a measured move from the bottom or the top of the head here, and then take that from the break, and we blew past that. But yeah, that's an inverse head and shoulders. Kind of an ugly head, but yeah, man. Oh man, did you guys see what happened with Aquestive? I made a video about it like beginning of January. And I drew this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and I had been accumulating shares at like 250. But then it was just doing all this sideways action. And I'm just like, man, this head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders pattern, I don't know that it's actually going to happen because it's fading for like a month. And then just like over the past week, squeezed up to $4 a share, which is the measurement basically from that pattern. Just like the most beautiful chart. The title of the video is like beautiful head and shoulders. It just took too long, and I just thought like I didn't have conviction in my analysis because I'm still pretty, I'm not a pro at this or anything. I just enjoy doing it. But so yeah, I got the measurement up there to the neckline, and then you move that to, let's see, the break was, really right here, but we didn't really get confirmation. That brings it up right there, but really, I mean, the breakout wasn't until over here. I just think this is so amazing. This is such a beautiful chart. And yeah, I don't know what news came about with them. Press release, Aquestive Therapeutics to report fourth quarter 2023 financial results and recent business highlights at some date. But yeah, I mean, usually it's just like you get these like weekly reports from this company. It's just like they're very boring. But yeah, that was a pretty cool play. I wish I had more conviction in my analysis, but I made some money on it. I could have made more money with it, but that's how it goes. You always could make more money. Let's see. SPRC. I did go over that. That's an intriguing one. For wait 2 weeks and see what happens. I don't know if somebody requested TD. And so I believe that if they have plans to run it, they'll want to keep it above issue. Yeah, that makes sense that they want to keep it above $4 as far as SWIN goes. I'm not sure if somebody actually requested TD or if that was something else. But somebody did request Twilio as well as WULF, so I will go over those. Twilio, I haven't looked at this since a stream, since it was gapping down here. I haven't touched it. This is all the work of Mr. Fibonacci, not me. Coming back down to the 786, bouncing up to the 618. Pretty cool chart. This could look like a bear flag, though, so I would not be surprised if this broke down further. Jose, I will look up GDHG as well. I think I get confused, but I might have, let's see, Golden Heaven. Yeah, I did pull that up in a stream before, but I'm just going to go over Twilio, then I'll do WULF, and then I will do GDHD. But yeah, I just think Twilio, who requested Twilio? Just beautiful chart. Super, super cool. I'm not sure. Tough to see in the chat. But anyways, whoever requested Twilio, this is just super cool. But yeah, I mean, I could see this as, this bounce. Let's see. It looks like, I mean, to me, it looks like it's, I think it did cross that Fibonacci level. Did I draw this precisely? It's approximate. But yeah, it does look like it crossed that Fibonacci level, got rejected there. If we don't see a lot of volume, big move up in the early part of this week, I think it's probably going to be retracing to some extent. But let's see, I'm just going to color this yellow. But yeah, man, this is a cool chart. I'm just going to do retracement from the top here to the bottom. Like if we assume that that is the bottom, I guess this is also the other thing about Fibonacci's that can be kind of frustrating. They don't always add information because they just overlap with each other. But, maybe I could do one from this run up and see. Yeah, I mean, maybe this could be going down to $54, but yeah, that's just a super, super cool chart. Yeah, I was thinking it might find support at 618, but always the 786. I feel like it's like, basically if something's retracing to 618, it's possible that it's going to stop there. So maybe good to establish like quarter or half a position there. But also be prepared for the possibility of it coming down to the 786. And then if that happens, if you establish quarter of position at the 618, you waited for it. And then you add the 3/4 at the 786, the remainder, your average is right around here. And you made, let's see, from here to there, 8%. And so let's say your average is right around here. You made 5% on this. It's not crazy, but yeah, cool chart. Super cool chart. Oh, and I got a bunch of comments from, wait. Saw a comment. Oh yeah, okay. So one comment from NASCAR here about interesting sympathy from Friday was BBLG started running at 8:10 a.m. after 8 a.m. Press release, and BIVI had 8 a.m. press release ran from $1. Dang. Okay, so I'm gonna add those here. I'm just gonna delete a few of these off this list, and then I will go over WULF and GDHG before I get into those. I'm just going to delete some of these that I've covered. I'm intrigued by SPRC, so I'm going to leave that up here. And I don't know if TD is something I need to go over, but I'll add, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to do BBLG, BIVI, BBL. Oh, you already got BBL. Did I type those in incorrectly? BBLG and BIVI. BIVI. Okay, there we go. And then also I see Jose's also followed up with JL, which is J long group. So add that. And then any thoughts on, hey Big Mo, I'm just going to type up because the stupid heart emoji is blocking it. Polestar. I was wondering if that's what you were talking about. Polestar. I'll pull that up. And yeah, so I'm first going to go over WULF, and then I'm just trying to do these in order now because I get really distracted. And so this, let's see, I've got overlapping lines here. I'm going to delete these. And so this looks like, I mean, at this point, it looks like it might be coming back to the 236 at $1.70. This reminds me of something else I was going over. But let's see. I'm just going to do another retracement, though, because we do have from the low here to the high here. Actually, it might have found support at the 618. It does look like it tested that and found support there, bouncing above the 50%. So I would look for closes below $2. If there are two closes below $2, that's potentially not so good. But with this wick low here, now let's see the low from Friday, March 1st, it was $1.79.3. And so I'd look for, if you get a close below $1.79.3, that is not good. But thus far, it's looking good. It's looking like it might have found a bottom there. And maybe, so look, one thing that I've noticed about these Fibonacci retracements, it goes up and then it comes down and bounces on the 50%, and then it goes up to the 236, and then it comes down to the 618. If that pattern's to repeat, it's going to go up maybe a little bit higher than 382, then get rejected, and then come back to the 50%, and then maybe it goes a lot higher or it breaks down. So I feel like from current price, there is potential, actually current price is up here, there is potential for maybe like a 10% swing. But I think it could be short-lived like it was here. And that was, let's see, from the close here, that was a Friday. So yeah, and also interesting, this is a Friday before big move up, 25% move up, but just to the close of that day, over 10%. So yeah, I could see WULF running, especially this is related to crypto, right? Yeah, Bitcoin surges. Terawulf is Bitcoin mining. And so I could see that with Bitcoin getting back to, man, I think that this is a bull flag, and we might be seeing a retest of 69K this week. Who knows? Maybe. But, maybe if we get up there, then that's like rug pull season or something. So be careful. But yeah, I do think WULF could be bouncing at least to $2.16. I think it might be going above the 382. But yeah, just something to keep in mind there. And then I do need to, after I've gone over that, need to look at GDHG and also compare that with GL. So here, I guess I did look at this before. And so here from this, let's see, does, potentially, this is just a line that I drew, which price is just above. And so I don't know how significant that is. It does look like, this had kind of acted as support here, broke below it, did get rejected from that uptrend. So yeah, I'm going to just color this yellow. Maybe I'll do it gray. Which doesn't stand out as much. And then I'll do another retracement from the low here. 41 cents up to the high here of 62 cents. I'm 3/100ths of a cent off. Close enough. I hope that's close enough. Yeah, this looks like it's just below the 618 at 49.03 cents. Maybe it's a fake out. So I think good to see how price, acts tomorrow. But it could be coming down to the 786 at 45.5 cents. And that, let's see, I feel like it's probably going to correspond. Yeah, I mean, it's right in the middle of, where there was this consolidation. And so if it breaks below, this is approximate, but like 47.5 cents, then yeah, I definitely think it could be coming down to 45.5. But then, yeah, so I mean, I think it could find support there. How high could it go? I mean, it potentially could go up to test this uptrend again, but maybe not. And you were also asking about, GOSS, Quodwan. I will look over GOSS. I do have that up here, and I forgot to look at it, so thank you for reminding me. Quodwo. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Quodwo team. Yeah, so I'm just going to compare this to JL real quick, and since I did forget to go over GOSS, I will go over that before moving on to the next ones. And so JL here, ooh, this looks like some news happened. Down 84% on the day, but not so bad, I guess, because of what's over here. So what is this company? It is a holding company principally engaged in the distribution of reflective and non-reflective garment trims. The company's products include heat transfers, fabrics, woven labels, and tapes, sewing badges, piping, zipper pullers, and draw cords. Okay, and so what news happened that caused this to happen? What is this? I'm just going to pull up something. Okay, so why did JL go down? Shares are heading more than 90% higher roughly 1 month after its initial public offering. So that is old news. These are days ago, so Seeking Alpha will just pull up ads and stuff. So yeah, it did go up. It's crazy. You don't think this is that green of a day compared to this, but it went up 15.5% on Friday. But then down 7.5% in the after hours. And so I think that like after hours pricing is like really interesting because I feel like it does the exact opposite of what you see in the market hours. And so with that being down, maybe that's just like a way to panic people who are holding it and that this might be recovering up to, let's say, the close of this candle over here, right around $12.75, $12. That's maybe a little ambitious. Maybe like the IPO price or this low over here at like $6 a share. Maybe that's more reasonable. But I also think this is a gamble and that the price might not go up. because yeah, let's look at this on the shorter time frame. Maybe on the 10-minute. This big sell-off. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Tough to say with this. It just randomly dropped 85% in a day. Oh, okay, so GDHG also dropped 80% in a day? Or you're saying that, oh, it's similar, like similar type of thing happening over here. What happened with that? But yeah, this is like what I would fear is that, you know, it drops that much and then you see like, oh, there's all this price action, but it's really just like fractions of what it was before. So what, holding company, amusement parks, water parks. Yeah, it's a Chinese water park company. Is that right? I don't know. It's peculiar. Like, is this a discount? Or, I mean, it's gone lower than these lows over here. I don't know. And so I'm going to pull up GOSS now because I did forget it. And then after that, I think Polestar. I will go over Polestar for sure. Yeah, I did. I was doing Polestar on like Saturdays, but it wasn't necessarily the most popular of EV tickers. And that's actually, I had mentioned a number of EV companies. Polestar, I feel like that has like, you know, the European market. I think, you know, and also just like a more sporty vehicle and stuff. So I think I'm very intrigued by them. But yeah, looking at GOSS, this, yeah, big drop. And now at this, what is this company? Gossamer Bio is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company. The company is focused on discovering, acquiring, developing, and commercializing therapeutics in the disease areas of immunology, inflammation, and oncology. Its product candidates include seralutinib, and then these other ones. And some of them are inhaled, small molecule platelet-derived growth factor receptors. So it's like a lot of, I think, like different methods for receiving drugs, I guess, is what I would think. And so what is the news that happened here? I'm not sure. But it's just like all of these weekly reports. I don't know if you see them. It's like weekly report, weekly report, weekly report. Nothing's going on with them. And so... And this is from January 11th. So that would be like, I need to go back further in time to get an idea of this. That would be like the beginning of December. What happened with it? Beneficial ownership securities. This was on the 6th. So the 4th. Statement of changes in beneficial ownership securities. Yeah. I don't know if this, yeah. I hate it when it does a pop-up in the web browser. Because sometimes there are a bunch of ads and stuff. I will. This is boring. Yeah. I'm just going to close this because I don't know how I even understand this, but they basically sold, exchanged ownership of the company, basically, I think. And so, yeah, I mean, with this, let's see. Where do we even begin with this? I feel like maybe from here to here. So maybe it could go, I mean, it looks like it's kind of settling out here, 135. Maybe it consolidates there before moving higher. Let's see, volume profile, throw that back up. Maybe it's, I mean, I'd look for it. I mean, maybe this level is pretty arbitrary, but like I'd look for, you don't want to see closes below $1.35. Or, you know, really, I mean, $1.38, that seems like a little, that's getting into this consolidation zone. So it would be better if it broke higher. And with that being said, I do think that this could pull back because like it doesn't have enough momentum to get above this level here. So it might need to pull back some to reconsolidate and then move higher. And so maybe that could be doing that around $1.13, pulling back to that level. But one thing I am curious to draw now that I am looking at it like this. Let's see. This is not right. Maybe this, yeah, because this doesn't come up high enough. Thinking that maybe this is a head and shoulders or something. But yeah, this is still the head. Because it's just like an ugly head. So I could see this pulling back to $1. Maybe finding support around $1.14 around the highs here. But yeah, I mean, I could see like if this is to be a bullish play, I could see it pulling back and making a smaller shoulder and then maybe going up to fill this gap. So maybe there's something there, but I don't know. And then so I will, well, one more really interesting daily chart to look at. It had similar knife day to GDHG and JL, but it held around issue. Eventually it squeezed from $6 to $216 a day. Oh, there's no news on. I meant to say, look at top. Okay, I'll add top, but I am going to go over Polestar first because somebody did request that. If they're still here, and I'll probably do a weekly. Oh, top. Dang it. Polestar. So I usually do these videos on Saturdays, but because of the earnings call, I ended up doing one during the week, and I'm probably going to continue that. Here, yeah, this is a bearish engulfing candle pullback, but retest of, what I think is a wedge there. Maybe is that right? Oh no, that's just a parallel channel. That is just a parallel channel. So I don't know. No significance there. I'm going to actually delete that. What happened there? But yeah, I mean, I could see this coming down to 186. So for me, like, personally, I have a position in Polestar. And I am just, like, if it dips lower, I actually need to go over my levels for the week that I plan on adding to. But for me, I'm probably looking at, I think my average is around, maybe it's a different one, 169. And so for me, I'm probably not looking to add until it gets back to like 166, if that happens. If it doesn't, if it looks like it's finding support around this uptrend, which I feel like that's a more likely case than it going down to 166, or, it could consolidate around where it currently is and form a bull flag and then go higher. So I think this is one to keep an eye on. Like, I can't really add too much to it right now. I think we need to see a couple more candles to see if it's consolidating up here, potentially forming a bull flag. Or, with this red day down more than 5%, almost 6% on Friday, and then also closing below $2, maybe that's a fake out. But this gap was filled. Let's see, what was the high on Thursday? That was $2.17. What was the open here? $2.20. So, is that right? $2.20. Oh, yeah, but then the close, so it would be going from the close, then gapping down. That close is at $1.83. So yeah, there's potentially still a gap here. So maybe there'd be another attempt to fill that or to get to like 221, this level here. So yeah, I think that there's still potentially more upside to this, which could happen by, blow off top to this level and then a pullback. Or if it does consolidate here, I think that's the most bullish case scenario, forming a bull flag, and then it could break higher. The worst case scenario is that, this red move continues down to, 186, if not right around 174. So I feel like there are those three scenarios, and I couldn't say which one it would be doing. So I would just keep an eye on it. We didn't get a close above this wick high, so I think, and look at the volume profile. Let's see. I would think, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people, bought here thinking it's going to the moon, and then it sells off. And then on Thursday, they were like, oh, I'll sell if it goes a little bit higher. And then it doesn't, and it pulls back. And so now they're like, now, seriously, if it gets back to my average, I'm selling my position. So there's just going to be a lot of resistance up there. And so, yeah, I mean, I could see this. And also, yeah, I mean, with this, this being even higher than here, lower volume, people are taking profits up here. That so I feel like best case scenario of all is that it forms a flag here. What might happen though is we might get another pump, but then I think that it would sell off probably to this downtrend or uptrend. So that's what I think about that one. And you wanted it to close above 2. Yeah, so was that related to, so Big Mo, was that related to options? Let's see. Let's look over at the max pains for Polestar. And so they just do like monthly ones. So the next one's coming up on the 15th. I imagine it's going to be $2. Yeah, $2. And then the month after for April, $3. So, I mean, they're monthly contracts. They're purchased well in advance, but maybe there's something there. Let's see, like the next ones are a total reach, July, $2, yeah. So, and then there's like nothing there after that. And so, I don't know. I think, yeah, I mean, and also, with this, gap fill and stuff, just like $2 being a psychological level, I think that there's going to be a lot of resistance there. But if we're able to consolidate, like basically March 15th, I feel like we'll close below $2. And then reevaluate what max pain is for the following month. But $3, let's see, where is that? I don't even have that marked here. It's like the gap fill over here, basically. So yeah, I mean, I just think so many of these EV stocks, the charts look really nice, but it's like you gotta endure a bunch of pain to get there. But I'm really like, the Aquestive chart that I was going over, beautiful inverse head and shoulders. You had to wait for it. And so I think that what's going on with this stuff, I mean, NIO is, I think, a nice example of it as well. You just got to wait for it. Polestar is breaking out. But yeah, 3 options. Blow off top and retrace, consolidation, and more sustainably moving higher, or just a retrace, a collapse to, I think, this uptrend right around 174, maybe 180, between these two levels here, I think. And then I will look at top. And so I have been streaming for an hour and a half. So after top, I might close this down unless there's something else burning that I have to go over. So pretty flat. I'm surprised this doesn't have a lot of other squeezes going on. And this is Top Financial Group, formerly Zongyang Financial Group, is a company mainly engaged in the offline brokerage business. And so, yeah. And so I'm just going to read NASCAR's comment on this. One more really interesting daily chart to look at. Similar knife day to GDHG and GL, but it held around issue. Eventually it squeezed from $6 to $260. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. Man, I want that to happen. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'm just curious, like, what's the timeline for this? Because that's 200% move almost. Well, I mean, I guess less than that because you'd be starting from over here. But yeah, I mean, so from they're like this low to the high here. That's over the course of 7 days. And then from this low to that high, a little, 6 days. And then here, I guess I just like, because it squeezed up so much and it seems like there's this like little mini squeeze here, which is probably, still a pretty good percentage move. So like from the close there to like the high here, 25% move over the course of like 3 days. So that's not too bad, but that's just like a mini squeeze. Maybe there's like is there like this wedge here? The knife day you're talking about on top was on. Okay, so you're looking at that one that's going back to this. Is that right? 2020. The knife day on top was, I'm looking at top, 10/14/2022. But eventually went again. So 10/14/2022. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Okay, so, here. Yeah. Oh, so you're saying that, like, this was Dunzo, like, potentially GDHG. And so let's just see, though. This is insane. Yeah, I mean, because this could be just like, hey, put in a little bit and see what happens. But this is over the course of, like, over a year and a half. Or, sorry, over a half a year, over 6 months. And so that's, what was the percentage down from that? That was 75% down, GDHG. So basically, I'm just going to delete. Actually, no, I won't, but I'm going to do a measurement. So let's say from this, how many days out? This is like 100 days out. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I feel like this has more time to go if it's to be similar for the squeeze. As far as top, because that was, is this what I was just looking at? Yeah. Yeah. And so JL, let's see. This just happened. So I feel like of these, yeah, this seems like the one to maybe set an alert on your phone or have like the app or whatever on Twitter remind you to look at this 6 months from now. And maybe 6 months from now also look at GDHG. And maybe that is one to add to if this is to repeat. Which, I mean, that's, man. You put $1,000 into there, and you've turned it into, let's see, a lot more money. Let's see. It's like almost $4 million. So yeah, how do you know when to sell the top though? Maybe there's a, yeah, so I'm just this is gonna be stupid, but going from the top here to the bottom here and adding in all of these other ones. Let's see where that will bring us. Yeah, so there's no way to know how high it will go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The thing with GDHG, though, it didn't hold issue at all, trading well below $1. Top was holding above $5. Oh, okay. it didn't hold issue at all. Yeah, so I mean, for me, I'm not, these are just like interesting thought experiments and stuff. But yeah, this was like at the low of 350, but yeah, for the most part, right around $5. But yeah, pretty interesting. Nice to fantasize about putting all of your money into a play like this and then taking it out the day later. And then, yeah, being happy for the rest of your life. Or being miserable, but with a lot of money. But yeah, so one other comment before the stream ends. LIFW had a press release tonight. It looks interesting. Trading at $1, former SPAC like Hollow, and recent runner to, I can't see, is that $180? $18 in November 2023. So let's see, I'll look up LIFW. And yeah, I'm going to delete some of these. Which ones? Did I look at Bivy? I don't know if I looked at Bivy, and if I didn't, I'm sorry. If somebody's still here and wants me to look at Bivy, let me know, and I will do. But first, I'm going to look at, let's see, LIFW. Press release, so they went up 21% during market hours and then an additional almost 7% in the after hours. And what kind of company is this? MSP Recovery, doing business as LifeWallet, is a Medicare, Medicaid, commercial, and secondary payer reimbursement recovery specialist. It is engaged in disrupting the antiquated healthcare reimbursement system using data and analytics to identify and recover improper payments made by Medicare, Medicaid, and commercial health issuers. It analyzes historical medical claims data to identify recoverable opportunities. The company has developed over 1.4 thousand algorithms which help identify waste, fraud, and abuse in the Medicare, Medicaid, and commercial health insurance segments. So I feel like that's a very useful thing. But let's see. It has come to an interesting level, which is like the lows over here. And it's below them. Did get rejected from them. The RSI is only at 50. I think what, let's see. I think that this could be like a, you know, maybe it's going to happen, but maybe it's not. But what you need to see is a break above this level, which is $1.10. So I think if you get a close higher, maybe that's the break, or maybe it just squeezes. I don't know. I'm going to put an alert here for $1.10. It's already at $1.10. Yeah, I mean, maybe this is a squeezable one. Here, double bottom up. Here, break below it. This is all just, let's look at this on the longer time frame. Yeah, I could see this as a fake out. Fake out on the monthly time frame. Yeah, I could see this going up a lot. Let's see, high here, damn, it's $18, yeah. All news, I've already gone over Mara, but I will again. And I will, maybe I'll close on Bitcoin with Mara. And I never looked at TD. I don't know if I was supposed to. Mara. Let's see. Yeah, so this It hasn't moved much since I last went over it. So if you do want my perspective on Mara, it might be good to maybe rewatch that part of the stream. I will put timestamps on it, possibly before I go to bed, but maybe not. Um, and so, yeah, well, actually, what I'll do is I'll at least put the timestamp on for Mara, and so you could skip to that and watch that part of it. But, really what I'm thinking about this, I think I basically just went over, this is bearish divergence, seeing here that I think you see on the uh, daily as well as monthly time frame. And so really, I think a lot of crypto stuff could continue to go higher. Bitcoin is not yet at the all-time high. And I do think that there's a lot of anticipation about that. But, like what we're seeing in the stock market, all-time highs already, stuff like that, if that starts to collapse, which might happen at some point, there could be a lot of, because Bitcoin is now kind of in the institutional investment portfolio with the ETF, if the S&P 500 starts collapsing, everybody's going to take their money out of these things. And so that could create a rug pull for Bitcoin, crypto generally, Mara, any miners. And so I am wondering if there's like this cascading snowball effect that could happen around that. And so I'm not banking on that. But for me, at least as far as my investments in crypto goes, I had previously, bought aggressively and then bought tops and, didn't have coins off exchange. And so for me, with Bitcoin, it's just a very casual dollar cost averaging. And yeah, so I don't know. It's tough to say. But yeah, I'd recommend looking over my thoughts on Mara because I am tired. And so I probably won't give that much of a, better perspective now than I did earlier. So I'll recommend that. After the stream, I'm going to put not thumbnails, but timestamps on the Fisker stream. And then I'll at least put the one on for Mara in this. So yeah, you'll have to check that out. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up because I've been doing it for an hour and 40 minutes plus the hour of the stream before. So I need to take a break from the computer. But if you did enjoy this, make sure you like it. And also, thank you so much for the comments in the live chat. Always fun to chat with you guys, get your ideas, look over the stocks that you guys are interested in, and fantasize about the squeezes that could happen. And, I'm sure you guys are all subscribed. Thank you for doing it. And I will be putting out, a video on shorting the market in the pre-market. I plan on doing that, but maybe I'm tired and I don't. I want to, though, before the market opens. I want to have that nice weekly candle to look at. And yeah, then I think that I'm starting the week with, got the calendar up here. Starting the week with, looks like just NEO, so kind of a light day. So I'll be doing shorting and NEO. I've already done BIOR today. And I'm switching NEO and BABA because I'm going to cover the NEO earnings call on Tuesday. Tuesday that's in the pre-market. After hours on Tuesday is ChargePoint, which I wish I could cover, so I'll probably cover that during the pre-market on Wednesday. Of these, I think I'll be doing SoFi again, and CleanSpark. I'm not sure if that got 100 views. NNDM, that was requested, so I'll try to do that on Wednesday. Plug Power and Rivian, both popular. Be doing those. Rocket Lab. And I work late, so I may not be able to do AMC on Friday. I might do it again Saturday morning, but I have to work Saturday, so it might be kind of tough to get in Fisker, Palantir, and AMC, but I'm going to try to do it. But yeah, jam-packed week. And also, an exciting thing about this week is that the channel is, basically partially monetized. It will be fully monetized by the end of this coming week. So I'm really excited about that, which means I'll start making a little bit of money. I can't imagine a lot from ads. So if you do watch ads on my channel now, I apologize for those. I can't do anything about it, and I don't make any money from them. But moving forward, really after this week, I'll hit the threshold for full monetization. And, I'm just going to try to keep up with the momentum, keep trying to crank out videos, keeping up on a schedule, going over tickers that you guys are interested in, and, just trying to increase the views, increase the engagement. And yeah, so thank you so much for hanging out. It's been a really fun stream. And I will stream, for the NEO earnings call on Monday morning. And I might do some ticker requests live after that. And then also probably ChargePoint streaming their earnings call Wednesday morning. And I might do a ticker request during market hours, but it might just be until next Sunday because, I'm working evenings. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out, and I hope you guys have a wonderful start to the week. I hope that the market treats us well, and yeah, I hope you guys sleep well tonight, ready for a good week